Autumn had come down quietly over the old town. Dry leaves lay gathered in the corners of the narrow lanes, and somewhere a thread of wood smoke rose into the cold, clear night. The stars were sharp and close above the rooftops. Down one lane walked an old man, slow and a little stooped, the smell of fresh wood shavings still clinging to his sleeves. His hands were knotted and worn, and they trembled, just slightly, as though they had set down something heavy and did not yet know how to rest. And then, at the end of the quiet lane, a small warm light. A little bell rang as the door slid open by itself. The old man stepped inside and stopped. The shop was small and smelled of paper and wood and something gentle he could not name. "Ah," he breathed, "my workshop smelled like this. For 60 years, it smelled just like this." Washi paper in soft autumn colors lined the walls, and behind a low wooden counter sat a white dog, quiet, still, watching a single sheet of paper as though it were a friend. "Forgive an old man for wandering in," he said. "I saw the light, and my feet simply turned." The dog lifted her head and tilted it gently. Then with her nose, she nudged a small cushion toward the counter. The old man looked at it for a long moment, and then with a tired smile, he sat. "I made toys," the old man said softly. "Wooden ones, small things carved by hand. That was all I ever did, for 60 years. The dog said nothing. One ear turned just slightly toward him. Little trains, spinning tops, dolls and birds and bears. A small wooden dog. That was the very first thing I ever carved when I was a boy. I made thousands of them. I gave my whole life to them, one curl of wood at a time." He looked down at his trembling hands. "But last week, my hands forgot how. They shake too much now. So I closed the workshop, and I sat in the empty quiet, and I thought of all of them. Sold, given away, broken, lost, forgotten in attics, scattered across the whole wide world, and I never said goodbye to a single one." His voice grew very small. "I am an old man, and I am afraid of a foolish thing. I am afraid that none of it mattered, that I gave my life to little wooden nothings. I only wanted to know, were they ever held? Did they ever matter, even once?" After a long moment, the white dog rose. With the tip of her nose, she slid a single sheet of pale washi to the center of the counter, and then she simply looked at it. The old man watched, not quite understanding, and the paper began to move. Slowly, gently, all on its own, it folded, one crease, then another, sure and soft as a breath. No hands touched it. The dog only watched, calm and certain. A small shape rose from the paper, not a crane, a tiny paper figure, a little person, no bigger than a thumb, standing quietly in the lantern light, glowing with a faint and patient warmth. "What is it?" the old man whispered. "What good is a little paper man to me?" The dog only looked at the small figure, calm and certain. Some goodbyes are too far to carry yourself, so you fold one and you let it go in your place, and it finds every door you no longer can. The little paper figure glowed, soft and gold in the center of the shop, and then from the quiet dark around them, something began to gather. A small wooden train, half its paint worn away, a spinning top, a carved bird, a jointed doll with a kind, faded face, a little bear hugged smooth. One by one, gently shining, they came, every toy his hands had ever made, soft and half there, like warm light remembering a shape. The most loved of them shone the brightest, worn down to silk by small hands, their edges soft from years of being carried everywhere and held all night. And at the front of them all came a small wooden dog, the first thing he ever carved. The old man could not breathe. The toys gathered close and they grew still, and then together they bowed as slowly, deeply woo to the man who had made them, the ones he had counted as not enough, bowing in thanks to him, for they had been held, they had been chosen and carried and loved, and that, only that, had always been enough. Then, one by one, content at last, they melted softly into the light and were gone, and the small wooden dog turned back just once before it followed the rest. When the old man opened his eyes, he was back in the little shop. His cheeks were wet, and he did not bother to hide it. For 60 years he had carried one quiet question, and now somehow it had been answered. Yes, they mattered. They always had. The white dog nudged a small cup of warm roasted tea across the counter with her nose. The old man laughed softly and wiped his eyes and took a slow sip. "Thank you," he said, to the dog and to all the little wooden things, and to a pair of trembling hands that had, after all, spent themselves well. The dog tilted her head, and her eyes seemed almost to smile. Outside, the autumn night was cold and bright and full of stars. The old man stepped out into it, walking a little lighter, carrying nothing now but the quiet of a thing finally set down. He turned back once, but the little shop was dark, its light already gone, as though it had never been there at all. The old man was not surprised. Somehow he had expected as much. And that night, at his table, beneath a single lamp, he took up a small knife and a little block of wood once more. His hands still trembled. He carved anyway, slow and unafraid. Making was never the ending. It only, ever goes on. Above him, the tiny paper figure rose, drifting up toward the autumn stars. Some letters are folded, not written,